Good morning, traders. It is Monday, May 20th, 5:45 a.m. I'm Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators, and it is the beginning of another glorious trading week. It's going to be interesting to see what this week holds. Real quick, while you're watching this intro, please do hit that thumbs up button. Give us a thumbs up on the video and hit the subscribe button as well so that you can stay notified of what's happening with us in the future. All right, with that, let us start by taking a look at the S&P 500. And the S&P is playing out in exactly what I've been talking about for a while now, which is an ABC correction. So that is what I am looking for. I'm looking for further downside from here. And ideally looking for something in this range here. We're looking for something between the 38.2 and the 61.8 retracement levels. And it's always possible, of course, there is a 15% chance that we get somewhere below the 38.2, or rather, excuse me, above prior to the 38.2 retracement level. So there is always a chance that we have a very shallow retracement, which usually indicates a very strong market, and we're likely to break higher with some force. I don't really see us having a terribly strong market at the moment with all of the nervousness and fears surrounding the current U.S.-China trade war and all the other offshoot stuff related to that. So I have a difficult time seeing that playing out. But hey, probabilities are what they are. There's always a chance. Still, I'm looking ideally for a level of the 38.2 or below to get reached in terms of a retracement. Right now on the 60, certainly you can see we're making lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, etc. So certainly we are heading to the downside this morning, which in my experience suggests we may very well see a bit of strength at the open. Just people trying to buy the dip and so forth. We kind of see it already brewing here in that price has been making lower lows while the oscillator is making higher lows. So that does suggest a little bit of upside momentum could come in this morning. I wouldn't personally trust it. I will be looking for opportunities to the downside. We are below the 50 SMA on the daily chart, below the 50 on the 60. So certainly all signs right now are in the bear camp. Bears are in control of the oscillator on the daily and certainly on the 60-minute, no question. So perhaps the 60-minute will pop up to the zero line. Something along those lines might be able to play out, and that would give a good entry for the sellers to come in and start driving this market down lower again. But right now, anyway, short term, we've got ourselves a trend line, something along the lines of that is what I'm looking at. Now, that's a fairly steep trend line. It is what is it? 58 degrees. So, it's a pretty steep trend line. I would not be shocked to see this trend line get broken. Maybe the 50 SMA get tested or something on the 60, and perhaps then price take off lower again. But of course, that assumes that buyers step in this morning, and who knows? They may not. Maybe they'll be too scared. Maybe everybody's just going to be too panicked over other announcements that came out over the weekend and just over everything that's going on. And if we can just break down below this low, then no question whatsoever, further downside to come. So we just need to see how it plays out. But it's definitely going to make for an interesting and opportunistic trading week. should give us quite a few trading opportunities. So keep your eyes out for that. Let's take a peek at crude oil. And crude is really just trying to break higher. So far, the sellers have really been coming in and keeping this market from going too much higher. You can see a lot of wicks there on the daily, selling going on. Right now, the oscillator is still in bear territory. So what does this mean exactly? Well, price is hooking around and trying to head to the upside. The 13 EMA has come alongside and almost merged with the 50 SMA. The 50 is still up. So from that perspective, we are still in an uptrend. The trend has not changed or reversed or anything. We did have a pullback already, and the argument could easily be made that we had an A, B, C correction already, in which case this is just a wave one to the upside. Or perhaps this was the wave one, this was the wave two. Now we're starting a wave three. I don't know for certain. I feel like that's a little unlikely just because of how weak price is behaving right now as it tries to push higher. I kind of feel like we still have a two coming, but technically it could go either way. So if we break higher to the upside with some strength and start working on challenging this, then I would say we have a wave three that is now setting up and picking up momentum. So we'll just have to wait and see what this gives us. Certainly the uptrend was very nice, this whole leg here, and a retracement of that is in order, and this does to me look like it would qualify. So we just got to see price. Technically, it has to break this previous higher high in order to continue to the upside and show us that in fact it is marching higher. Anything between this high and this low right now is just sideways noise. So that is just balanced action, horizontal, sideways, channeling, range bound, whatever you want to call it, but not really going anywhere. So we either need to break down below this low or above this high to confirm. But right now, anyhow, it's looking like the most likely direction is to the upside, but the oscillator's got to give us some sign of momentum. MACD line has crossed above the zero line. It's trying to go higher. Oscillator is also trying to march higher. So we might be able to challenge that zero line and give us some more push to the upside for the next leg up very soon. 60-minute, of course, just basically showing us that exact same thing, just in a microscope view. And we can see it much more clearly, and it's trying to make higher highs and higher lows. Doesn't have a whole lot of momentum out of the oscillator. Momentum's pretty low right now, so we'll have to just see what this wants to do. We need to see some momentum come into this market, some buyers step in or some sellers step in, one or the other, but somebody needs to step up and start moving this market with some strength. All right, gold has been behaving interestingly. So, we came down, we almost got my 100% target, very close, bounced up, almost got it a second time, double bottomed right there, and then took off to the upside. And I was feeling pretty convinced that the 100% was dead and gone, dead and dusted, and a thing of the past. And then all of a sudden, now gold has sold back off again and is almost down to those lows once more. So, what does this mean exactly? Are we going to actually come down and give us that 100% after all? Well, given everything that's going on in the broader markets, and given that gold is traditionally that safe haven asset everybody talks about, where everybody goes to flight to quality and so forth during times of uncertainty, I'd say it seems unlikely that the 100% would get reached, because certainly we're in a time of uncertainty, which to me would lead gold higher. But right now, anyway, gold has been selling off. So we do have, or had anyway, a trend line here, which was broken, right? This certainly broke that trend line, but now we've come right back down to it again. So this is going to be very interesting. What exactly is going to happen? If we see some significant weakness in the broader market, then I would expect gold to climb. Right now, well, we've got a bit of a divergent oscillator, price going lower here, and certainly the oscillator going considerably higher. If price on gold can get above this high here, then I would expect some follow through to challenge this area here, which you can see was also a congestion area in the past. So this whole area here is certainly an area of sideways price action. I would expect price to get kind of stuck in that area, but a pop from around this 1278 ish level up to somewhere around 1285 to 1287, 88, something like that, is not at all unreasonable. But price has got to get over this level here. Right now, it has tried to hop over the 13 EMA, got sold right back down again, and right now is right at it, just flirting with that level. Got to be able to get over that and hold, and to be able to push to the upside and maybe test that 50 SMA. MACD line, of course, crossed its signal line for a little while back. Oscillator trending upwards, MACD line pointing upwards. Everything is gunning for that zero line. We'll just have to see if gold can actually manage to do that. And I think a good chunk of that could depend on the broader market. On the other hand, if the broader market, if people buy this bounce aggressively, then we might see gold come down. Maybe it hits that 100% after all. It is certainly possible. I didn't think it was the most likely outcome. I still don't think it's the most likely outcome, but hey, the buyers and sellers do what they want, and if the sellers in gold decide to get aggressive and push this price down, then that's what we'll see. All right, natural gas is finally looking like maybe it's starting to wake up. Little bit of strength shown there, a little bit of a bullish candle, a little bigger than what we've been seeing lately. It's not huge. It's definitely not a nice big bullish engulfing or anything like that, but it's something. It's a little tiny hint of strength. Price is still trying, or rather, the oscillator, excuse me, I should say, is trying to get to that zero line, and it's right at it right now. It is just right there. And so is the MACD line. MACD line is also right at the zero line. Everybody is trying to push higher, trying to push higher. So this is looking like we could have the next move up taking shape finally. We are right at that 50 SMA. Tried to challenge it and then got sold right back down below it again. So right now, that is the level to beat. Let me zoom in on that a little bit so you can see it better. There we go. So we got right there to the daily 50 SMA and then just very quickly got sold back down just the last couple of hours. But the oscillator's got some momentum behind it there, higher than it has been recently. So I'm thinking that there is an attempt to head to the upside here. We've got an uptrend, a new uptrend forming. If this analysis of we have a bottom here and then a 1, a 2, and now we're in a 3, if that is correct, then certainly there is going to be more upside to come. Challenge that level there, break that, and there's no question at all that we are going to head higher, but probably not without a pullback first. So keep that in mind. If this is a wave 3, then we got to have a 4, and then finally a 5. So just do your extensions, do your retracements, do all of your normal analysis like we teach, like we've been telling you about, and see where you think this market might wind up, and then trade accordingly. And finally, let's take a look at the craziness that is crypto. That is Bitcoin specifically. So I am a little surprised that Bitcoin got all the way back up almost to the recent high again of almost 8,500. It did break the 8,000 level briefly, did not hold, sold off. I am looking and have been looking for an A, a B, a C correction. That's what I'm expecting out of this. I didn't really expect B to get that high. That surprised me. But this is an extraordinarily volatile market, as anybody who follows crypto at all is probably well aware. This market is a bit nuts, and when it moves like crazy. And right now, anyway, you can see where that high here was an oscillator high there, but this repeat high was down here. So the oscillator is looking like it's weakening. To me, that suggests this is a failure to go higher, in which case I'm expecting, don't know if I'll get it, but I'm expecting a break of this low here. And ideally, I would love to see a test of around the 6,000 psychological level, which is also right around the 50% retracement of this leg here, which I am believing is a wave 3. So it's a very, very strong wave 3. But that's crypto for you. It doesn't really shock me a whole lot. So now I'm looking for an A, a B, and a C. I would love to see 6,000. Of course, I would also love to see 6,000 hold. 6,000 is a big deal. Everybody is really paying a lot of attention to that level. And if that level fails to hold, we certainly could come back down to around the 5,000 level or so, which is also roughly the 61.8 retracement. I would really want to see 5,000 hold, though. If 5,000 didn't hold, that would be a bad sign, certainly, for Bitcoin, because really that was the point. This was the day right there where everything changed recently, and we officially broke out of the recent channel, or rather the recent bottoming formation that was happening, the recent highs, and showed that there was some strength, and then we held that strength. Went sideways for a bit, but held on to that strength, and then just shot higher with a quick rocket ride up to that 8,000 level. So we've just got to see what the buyers are willing to do. Anything can happen, of course, and especially in this market, if the buyers are dead set and determined to push this higher, and FOMO is kicking in, and they're all wanting to head to the upside. Certainly, the 13 is up, the 15 is up. Everything is technically up, but we still could get a pullback, and I'm looking for that. I'm really waiting for a pullback to have another buying opportunity somewhere between this level, like the 6,000 to 6,500 level. I think is a great buying opportunity to be long Bitcoin. Of course, that assumes a bullish outlook, which I certainly personally do have. But short term, Well, yeah, it's not looking that great. We can see that price pushed higher, oscillator pushed lower, and now oscillator is actually below that zero line. And we are definitely heading lower. Whoops, hello, what's going on here? Forgot to turn off my notifications. Sorry about that. So, oscillator definitely weakening, MACD line below the signal line. Everything is looking short term bearish. So that fits for me with a pullback. I would like to see that. That's what I'm really holding out for. I've got my retracement levels and everything, and now it's just a waiting game. All right, back to the S&P real quick. See what's going on. And what's going on right now is sideways. In the short term, we are just heading sideways. Indecision, but the oscillator's trying to get higher. So definitely keep an eye out on the open this morning in 30 minutes. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens at the bell for the first half hour or so. Do the buyers step in and try to aggressively buy this dip? Or are they seeing what I'm seeing, A, B, C, and nervous about that? Because this also could be seen as a flag, nice little bear flag here, in which case an extension to the downside is in order, which I think is somewhere in this neighborhood here. That 50% level would be a very reasonable place to hit. We'll have to see if we get it. That is the big question, isn't it? All right. That's it for me this morning, analysis wise. I'm going to go get ready for the premium trading room. Those of you who will be in there this morning, I will see you there. It's going to be a fun one. Tom will be rolling in around 15 minutes or so, and I will be kicking things off right around that time as well. So until next we meet on Wednesday morning, I will be doing this all over again. Make sure you hit that like button, give us a thumbs up on this video, and throw in some feedback, comments. Let me know what you like, what I could do more of, what I could do better. Any tickers you'd like analyzed, any techniques, strategies, anything like that you would like discussed. I will do my best to fit it into my 15 or so minutes of analysis time. So that is it for me, Jonathan van Clute with Stock Navigators. Wishing you have a fantastic Monday. I hope your week kicks things off in the green, which is how we should be keeping it. Take care until Wednesday morning. Trade well. Bye bye.